By now, we are all aware of the Hyundai Pony. The Hyundai Pony was a model which Hyundai once did back in the 70s. That model lacked identity for obvious reasons. It was a model which Hyundai only started. Hyundai Pony is a special car because it was a very flexible car for Hyundai. They had a passenger version, they even had a van version, and they even had a pickup version. And of course they had other passenger versions like the estate version, fastback version. It was a very special car in that sense. Now the Hyundai Pony is very significant in today's topic because today I'm going to be talking about the Hyundai Ioniq 5. This is the Hyundai Ioniq 5. It's a very big excitement it came out, guys. I was very excited, very happy to see it right here. This Ioniq 5 is a very special car because it's electric. That's one reason why it's special. It's electric, 0% emission. However, that's not the only reason I believe it's special. For me, it's very special because this car has a lot of identity in it. The Hyundai Pony was a topic I brought up with a reason, and the reason being the design of this Hyundai Ioniq 5 has been greatly inspired by the designs of the Hyundai Pony. The Hyundai Ioniq 5 starts at a price of 45,000 euros. Is this good value for money or not? We are going to determine this in a moment, everyone. Let's get on with the review right now. But before we do so, I'm going to let you all know something. This Hyundai Ioniq 5 is not the top of the range version. This, I think, is the base version. It's the start version. So let's not be surprised if we don't see some fancy gadgets on board. Over here, this is your proof that this Hyundai Ioniq 5 is indeed electric. And you know what this means? 0% emission, and you get hydraulic struts for your engine bonnet. How premium is that? And also, let me remind you all something, okay? Listen for once and for all. Just because this car is electric does not mean it's unreliable. Electric cars these days are becoming way reliable than you think. And don't forget one thing. This Hyundai Ioniq 5 is no ordinary electric car. If ever you have any sort of distress or problem, Hyundai assistance will cover you up. Now, a prominent evidence that this Hyundai Ioniq 5 is indeed not the top of the range version is going to be the presence of the hard plastic over here. Now, the hard plastic over here does not completely remind you that this car is a base version. In fact, it's not there to demoralize you at all. This hard plastic over there pairs very well with the theme of this Hyundai Ioniq 5 and surprisingly gives it a cross-country theme. Although I have serious doubts electric cars should go for cross-country. This is the exterior design of the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Already a prominent thing I can see about it is two recurring themes. The first recurring theme I've noticed about the exterior is that it has it really does take on from its ancestor model, which goes by the name the Hyundai Pony. Very interesting. It's very evident by those square headlights, which the Hyundai Pony also had. And then it's interesting, there is this bit of a different tone color right here, which goes right underneath the imitation of what looks like a grill when it's not a grill. But it's interesting. It's black over here. You got little square shapes inside if you look carefully. And then this trim right here. I like how there's a black line right here. Interesting. Very good. And also very nice design around it. Also, you get a straight line over here onto the bonnet. There's a lot of straight line theme going on around it, and this leaves me to come to my second recurring theme about the Hyundai Ioniq 5. The second recurring theme I've noticed is that it really does take on from its Hyundai theme, I'd say, because I've noticed, for example, if you look here, those straight lines that are on the side over here, they really do remind me of something I've seen on the Hyundai Tucson, the all-new Hyundai Tucson, the Hyundai Bayon, and the Hyundai i20. They all have a similar theme on the side, and I think, frankly, this is very good. It reminds me of a Leaf. It's interesting, and this is another form of identity associated with Hyundai. Another form of identity I've noticed also is at the front over here. Do you notice this bit of the trim goes downwards and then goes back upwards on the other side? This kind of reminds me of the front grille of the Genesis. Interesting, because Genesis is supposed to be a luxury brand of Hyundai, so it doesn't surprise me Hyundai employs that sort of design on this Ioniq 5. Very premium in some senses. This is the rear design of the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Interesting. It just looks like the Hyundai Pony, as I've mentioned earlier. A lot of straight line themes going on again, and this has to be, again, there's something again about Hyundai's obsession of putting the side indicators at the bottom of the bumper, the rear bumper. Selective taste, as I say, but otherwise this is the first time I see they put a plastic cover right over it. Interesting. Gives it a very cross-country theme after all. This is your plug-in cap over here, and I like how it's very well integrated with the design. You get these two lines that are right next to the other lines of the design, and you get just this prominent line. But from a distance, you won't really notice it at first glance, so it's quite good actually. I don't know if it's just me, but lately I'm under the impression that many electric cars have developed an obsession for having door handles that blend with the design. You know, it's actually quite good, but on the case of this Hyundai Ioniq 5, these door handles do not pop out when you lock or unlock the car. You have to do it yourself, so this is how you do it. Let's do it with the right hand. So your thumb goes here, you push this pops out, use your four fingers over here, and then you pull the door open. So, you know, this is the first time I have to do a lot of finger movement just to get the door open. Again, selective taste, everyone. Some people don't mind, or just do this and then this, you know. So over here your finger goes, where you see that little square shape, and there you go. So yeah, you'll get used to it eventually. This has to be the first times I see the side plastic over here is very well decorated. You get the straight lines over here that go in that shape. I absolutely love the design of those wheels. Look, they look very nice. And I've noticed this on many electric cars. They really have a thing for the black alloys and the silver lining on them. Very good. Very good. And Hyundai especially has employed it quite nice. They remind me of leaves because of the design on them. Like, look at them. So much straight line everywhere. Overall, the exterior design is very impressive, guys, and I have to say, very, very rich identity. And when I say very rich identity, I mean it, guys. This has to be one of the first times I've ever said this about a Hyundai car, and it's impressive. Hyundai, keep up the great work. In terms of identity, it's very good. However, whilst exploring the exterior of this Hyundai Ioniq 5, I already noticed some minor flaws. The first minor flaw I've noticed is that, I don't know if it's just me, but the bonnet and the bumper don't seem aligned. I don't know, but if it's done deliberately, there could be a reason behind it, and I'm assuming this is for the airflow. Another recurring flaw I've also noticed is that Hyundai has an obsession of putting the side indicator all the way down there for the rear lights. I have no idea why, but I've noticed this also on their SUVs, their crossover SUVs also. Like the Hyundai Santa Fe and the Hyundai Tucson also have this on the side. It has its own selective taste, although in my opinion it would have been better if it was here because it makes it more visible. But having it down there, it makes it, it gives it its own identity after all. It's something Hyundai is doing separately from what other brands would usually do. There's a little flap over here, and that's supposed to prevent the mud from splashing all over the body paint. And as I've emphasized before, it saves you a lot of money in long terms. However, my only questionable aspect I saw in this is that it gives me the impression this mud flap was added as an afterthought. But otherwise, it's of selective taste, and it's something you may not notice in first glance. And it doesn't really matter so much, but again, selective taste, as I say. Before we move to the interior of this Hyundai Ioniq 5, I first want to quickly point out something that I thought is necessary to point out. Hyundai has developed an obsession for leafy shapes and sharp edges, which is very good. But this in turn I feel has created a new problem for them. The problem that lies over here is that the edge of this door sticks out very proudly, and I'm standing on the same level as this Hyundai Ioniq 5, and the edge of this door is very close to my face, so whenever I open this door, it always is it's just too close to my face, so I have to constantly move away every time I open this door. So this is how you should open the door of this Hyundai Ioniq 5. And there you go. Easy peasy. Yeah, it's just something you have to be careful with. Otherwise, I think the sharp edge design is paying off in a good way. And I've also noticed a similar issue with the rear door. But with the rear door, there's something different about it. And that is the door handle is very much inwards. So whenever you open the door, the edge of the door is almost at your elbow level. Yeah, I mean, it would have been better if maybe the door handle was more backwards, but it's not a big deal. It's just of selective taste. This has to be one of the longest doors I've ever seen, though, for a crossover SUV of this segment, let alone electric. And I think that's actually a very good thing. I love it, guys. Honestly, I do. This long door gives it a very premium impression. But yeah, just something I thought I'd point out. Now, speaking of the door, this edge of the door sticks out very, very proudly. So it's like, you know, every time I open this door, it's almost hitting my... It always hits my belly if I stand here. So basically, every time I open this door, I have to back away. And then only I can open it completely. So, yeah, you know, it's otherwise it's not a big deal. But because these doors have these sort of handles like this, it's not so easy to pull open. So, you know, you have to use this hand, make sure it's free when you carry shoppings or something. Use this hand to push the door open. Don't rely only on this handle. Now let's move to the interior of this Hyundai Ioniq 5. And already, guys, first impression, I have to say I'm very impressed. Front passengers and the driver. The front passenger seat doesn't get any electric seating adjustment. It's all manual, but the driver's seat gets the electric seating adjustment, plus I think lumbar support. Very nice, guys. All the seats in the interior are fabric, and as I've stated, this is not a top-of-the-range version Ioniq 5, so it doesn't surprise me. Though you do get some leather right here, I think. I'm not sure if that's leather, but whatever it is, guys, that's some nice fabric right there, Scott. And over here, you get this nice little thing as your door handle, guys. So it's like a ditch right here. Very nice. You put your finger in there, and to close the door, it's like a pocket. It can double as a pocket, although I highly discourage you use this as storage because you might forget things in there. Now, this sort of door handle is very good, and it's very creative of the Hyundai Ioniq 5. It's so good. I am absolutely stunned, guys. I'm impressed. Look at this interior. It's very beautiful, and it's very special in its own ways. But if I have to say something about this door handle, is that you just have to be careful in long terms, because through time dust can set in there. So you just have to do some regular maintenance and cleaning, and you should be fine. This door handle is quite nice, very creative, and it really pairs well with the theme. And your center lock button is over there. Now, guys, do you notice something special about this interior? The absence of the Hyundai badge in the middle. It's interesting because, well, I mean, they kept 4 squares in the middle instead of a Hyundai badge. I think it's actually quite creative, guys. It makes the interior less busy for some reason. And this steering wheel is a 2-spoke steering wheel, so in long journeys, just relax your hand right here and you should be perfectly fine. Wow. I have to say, this interior was very impressive. I mean, honestly is, and it's very, very spacious in here, so you cannot complain about being cramped in here, guys, because this car is nowhere close to being cramped. I mean, look at this, guys. This door is so thick that this has to be the first time I've seen a wide windowsill for a crossover SUV of this segment and price of 45,000 euros. Actually, 45,000 euros is the starting price. Your infotainment system, your instrument cluster, and you get some climate and media controls over here. Although more controls may appear on the screen when the car is in action. Very good. You get your stop button right there. Oh, very interesting, guys. I mean, the way this interior is laid out is interesting, actually, I must confess. However, storage is a bit questionable, if you want me to be honest. The aesthetics is the pros. But if you want to know something I will question, the only thing I can question is the storage spaces. One prominent example would be the storage space that's all the way isolated, far away from the passenger and myself. I don't know why the 12-volt socket and USB points are even over there. They're far away from where I am. and it seems as though it has been added as an afterthought, or it has been there even as a plan, but what's the distance between myself and the storage space over there? I'm not really certain, everyone, and I see no extra storage over here, no extra drawer. But to be fair, you do get enough storage, and this is, speaking of drawer, I'm going to shock you all in a moment, because you see this glove box over here. This is not a glove compartment. This is actually a drawer. Now this is very special, guys. A drawer for a glove box. Very good, although it's not the first time I've ever seen this being employed in a car. I remember vividly that the Renault Espace had a similar thing going on with the glove compartment, where it was actually a drawer. But it's very good. Hyundai has employed it for the Ioniq 5. And I think this is innovative. It's special, guys. Very good. Yes, I still can't get over why that storage space is isolated far away from me. And also, you don't get actual central console storage, but you do get this armrest, which doubles as a console storage. Now, pay attention very carefully what I'm about to tell you all. Over here, you get extra storage space, right? But I do not recommend you store it all the way up to the top, because something can fall out of it and in between the seats and the passenger seats. Well, over here, between the plastic and the seats. Yeah, I can only imagine why is the wall of the storage not higher enough. They could have made it like, you know, until here maybe, but instead it's all the way down there. You do get extra storage in there though. I think that would be best for your telephone. Some connection points, USB points. And also you get your cup holders right here proudly in the middle. The position of the cup holders, if you want to talk about practicality, it's very practical. So I can just put my drink right there. It's easy to reach. It's arm reach. And whilst driving, I can reach it easily. But in terms of aesthetics, I'm under the impression those cup holders are too conspicuous. It would have been more interesting if there was a sort of, you know, cocooned central console right here. And with a cover over the drinks, the cup holders, cover over the cup holders. But okay, I mean, so far I like the philosophy of this interior. It looks very modernized, but I feel like those cup holders right here standing out is a bit of it's something a bit questionable in my opinion, especially for 45,000 euros. It's just, yeah. And speaking of central console storage, you do get another storage right here. Ta-da! And by the way, this looks like a volleyball. Whoever designed this Hyundai Ioniq 5 must have had a lot of fun at the beach. This person has put volleyball designs here, here, and over there, and also onto that circular speaker. Please tell me that looks like a volleyball. It sure does to me. And speaking of storage, yes, the door bin over here is also of well, it can fit a small water bottle, but the big water bottle might have some problems because this plastic is obstructing it. But yes, again, selective taste. Otherwise, this is practical enough as a storage, and the design otherwise is very modernized. I like it. Straight lines everywhere, guys. So you get your handbrake over there. Very good. Your hood latch is right there next to the feet. Yeah, I find it a bit questionable, although it's not going to be that easy to pull open with your feet because there's this plastic over here that prevents your feet from going in the direction of this hood latch. So, yes. Hyundai's obsession of having a conspicuous fuse box right here instead of extra storage will always be a mystery to me. I really don't know why Hyundai does it. They could hide the fuse box somewhere else, because to put it there is too conspicuous in my opinion, and also it could have done for extra storage, but okay, why not? Okay guys, now moving to the rear seat. The rear seat is quite cozy. I really am impressed. The seating comfort level is I have to say the seating feels a bit on the firm side, but also the back feels comfortable. So the seat over here, it's quite firm, but then at the back it's cozy, so it's interesting. And I have a lot of leg room. My knee room is unlimited almost. I mean, look at it, guys. Lots of space. Guys, I also have a lot of headroom. Check this out. Oh, you get a nice beacon of hope over there, and also you get this hook over here for your coats, and you get this nice handle which has a quite good feel and quality to it. What else can I ask for? If you desire some extra comfort, you get this nice squidgy armrest right here with 2 cup holders inside of it. Guys, check this out. You actually get an air vent right here. Wow, okay. You don't get climate control for the rear, but you do get an air vent at least. Both rear seats get net pockets. Selective taste, but otherwise, yeah, why not? And then also you get some USB connection points over there, but and you get some extra storage in there. Not bad. Again, similar door to the front, volleyball effect speaker. But then for some reason this door bin is of average taste, but it's quite long, very good, but the depth is average, I guess, but it can fit a small water bottle, that's for sure. It's the practicality of the door bin is as average for crossover SUV of this segment, I guess. An aspect I found a bit questionable is the fact that this seatbelt over here for the driver and the front passenger, the seatbelts are exposed, and usually most manufacturers, they always hide the seatbelt within the B pillar. But in the case of this Hyundai Ioniq 5, the seatbelt is exposed, and someone's feet can constantly accidentally touch the seatbelt, and this can annoy the front passenger and the driver. Okay, yeah. Let's take a look at the boot of this Hyundai Ioniq 5. But before doing so, I would just like to point out that you have to get used to the buttons of the boot door, because me personally, I had a bit of a trouble finding it, and that is, I see, that's the thing. I don't know where it is actually. Oh, it's right there. See, at first glance it wasn't clear, but then you'll get used to it eventually. So this is just an acquired taste. You'll get used to it. There's no issue with it, but yeah, it would have been better if Hyundai made it a bit simpler, but otherwise I'm impressed they didn't make it so conspicuous. The design is very well blended. Quite good. So this is the boot space of the Hyundai Ioniq 5. Now, in terms of how deep it is, it's quite deep, it's very good, but it's not, when it goes, in terms of going downwards, it's not so deep, I'd say. It's, horizontally, it's actually deep, but vertically, it's not so deep. So, you know, in my opinion, this boot is a bit average for a crossover SUV of this segment. So I therefore cannot complain. And because of this shape, I feel like it does obstruct a bit of the boot space, but it shouldn't be a big issue. But yes, and also it's worth mentioning, because this Ioniq 5 is electric, there are probably some electric technology that is underneath the boot, so that's why it doesn't really surprise me that the boot space is a bit smaller than average. Before I go further into my conclusion, I also want to point out that this Hyundai Ioniq 5 suffers the similar problem many electric cars of today suffer. The problem being practicality. Yes, practicality solutions were a bit questionable. I still can't get over how there's a micro practicality space that's isolated far away from the passenger and the driver. So yes, but it's not the first time I've seen this on an electric car, to be fair. Many electric cars suffer from this, and it's normal. It's not an uncommon aspect because of the electric technology. We're just new. We're just beginners. Every time we start a new project, we never nail it at the first attempt. We always have many attempts before we finally nail it. So this Hyundai Ioniq 5 has already done enough in terms of identity. So here's my conclusion about the Hyundai Ioniq 5. First of all, I want to emphasize to you all that the release of the Hyundai Ioniq 5 has been one of the best developments I've heard from Hyundai in recent years and in recent times. It's been a very special development. It's a very good development, and I think it's one of the best news I've ever heard lately. And this is not just any ordinary best news. This is something very special, because first of all, this Hyundai Ioniq 5 is electric. It's a crossover SUV, but it's no ordinary electric crossover SUV. This electric crossover SUV has taken the path of identity, and this is present on the Hyundai Ioniq 5. prominently. Yes, indeed, everyone. Especially when it comes to Hyundai, they were a brand that once suffered terribly from identity issues, and this issue was prominent in the 2000s and in the early 2010s. However, very recently it has all changed, and this has changed for the good. Now, is this Hyundai Ioniq 5 good value for money or not? You know what, guys? For a starting price of 45,000 euros, I have to say the fabric seats in the interior were a bit questionable in my opinion, but I can respect the design of them, and also they were pretty cozy. The interior was actually quite cozy, I cannot complain about it. But the big picture is that this car is electric. That's right, an electric crossover SUV, so I guess the price does count. And also, this design-wise, this car is special. I mean, look at it, guys. That's a good thing, guys. Hyundai has actually done a car that looks way more expensive than what the price implies. Very good, Hyundai. I'm impressed with you. Premium right there. You want my opinion of this Hyundai Ioniq 5? Oh, I love this Hyundai Ioniq 5. I really do, guys. I love this Hyundai Ioniq 5. It's very special. And actually, you know what, guys? I'm going to confess something to you all. This Hyundai Ioniq 5 really rose my eyebrows since the first time I laid eyes on it. When I first saw it, I was shocked. I was surprised that, wow, is this what really a Hyundai is coming up with? That's amazing. Initially, I was thinking this is just some concept car that's never going to see daylight, that's probably never going to see a showroom, but here it is, guys. It's right here, right next to me, and I actually sat in it, I stood next to it, I felt it, and it's so good, guys. I mean, this is, I think, a car you really have to consider if you're looking for a crossover electric car. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos that are on the run.